What is going on, guys? Jay Kraft here with the Facebook group All Around Pickers Lounge, and it has been a hot minute since I've been here. And I know I've got a lot going on in life. And, the update video, it's not going to be today. Firstly, I want to apologize for the camera quality. Yes, I get it's 720p. I'm using front facing camera. I don't have time to hook up the other camera, even though it's in the background somewhere. But I'm here today to talk to you more about my exit from eBay. And I explained to you previously in, I don't know, 2 videos ago, I said the time to leave eBay is coming. And I said that if you wait until the water is up to your neck before you start to build your ship, that there's a very high likelihood that you're going to drown. And there has been a number of problems that have occurred that I hadn't planned for in the process of leaving eBay that have really taken me for a loop. There's things that you don't even know about, such as concierge level support and how they've changed their policies in a radical way. They're no longer allowing courtesy removal of negative and neutral feedbacks, which in the short term doesn't seem like a big deal, but in the long term, it's going to have big ramifications. As you remember historically, I listed out about 15 or 20 reasons as to why I felt now was going to be the time to leave eBay. And this was 9 months to a year ago. This is a while back. And this entire time I've been slowly exiting. And since then, there's been even more reasons to leave. And this is one of them because as the marketplace starts to accumulate more negative and more neutral feedbacks, it's going to look like a less favorable marketplace to buy from when consumers are coming here and they're looking to spend their money. And bear in mind, we have more options now than ever before. Etsy, Poshmark, Mercari, Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, if anyone still uses that. There's plenty of places to go spend your money at now. Plus, we have access to goods in the local markets because guess what? COVID isn't a thing anymore. So people can go out and buy most of the things that they need, and they can also do, direct from the retail location to their house. So this impact of the concierge changes is having a direct impact. And why? Because guess what? Yours truly, Mr. 100% Feedback, over the last 19 years of my eBay account, even before I had concierge and I was fighting every single one, I was able to maintain a 100% feedback. Well, those days have come and gone. And why are they coming and going? Well, as I'm closing my store, I'm doing strategic rollbacks on my pricing. And the way that works is by taking my oldest items, let's say my oldest 500 items, and we'll just go ahead and argue that I have 1,500 items. We take my oldest 500 items and we're going to bring those down 5% the first month. The next month, it's going to be 10%, 15%, so on and so forth. And then after the first month, we're going to take the next batch of 500, which is like your middle items, the items that have been on for half the amount of time of your life on eBay. Your oldest ones, your middle block, and then your newest block. And then after those have gone, so now you have an older block at 10%, a middle block at 5%, and when that month ends, your newest ones are going to come on at 5%, and then it's going to be 10, 15, for 5, 10, 15, and it's going to cycle up each month. So as of right now, I have some items that are shockingly 60 to 65% off. And this is what's going to happen after a year of trying to close your store. 60 and 65%, 50 and 55%, 45 and 50%, somewhere in those ranges. And as I'm bringing my prices down, I'm also forced to delist items. What types of items are my delisting, you ask? Well, things where, let's say I have it listed for $40, my expected ship cost was going to be $15, and then my eBay fees on that sale might be about $6. Well, those items now, I can't have it 50% off. Because a $40 item at $20, my eBay fees are going to be $3, and my shipping cost, guess what? It's still remaining at $15. I'm not going to pack up and ship out an item over $2. Why? I could make the $2, couldn't I? Well, firstly, I'm not going to take the time to do it. I have better things to do with my life, okay? The $2 isn't worth it, and this is why I'm leaving eBay as well. I look back at my finances last year and I did $55,000 on eBay, of which $44,000 came to me, of which I paid an additional $6,000 in shipping cost. I didn't make a whole lot. Now, previous year I did $85,000 on eBay, and this isn't a full snapshot of all my e-com work because I make money on Amazon, I make money on Mercari, I make money on TCG Player, and I make the lion's share of my money in person now. I'm doing conventions. I'm going to make 150 or 200,000 in gross sales at conventions this year. It's very, very lucrative. If you want into it, let me know. I'm not kidding. There's a reason I'm leaving eBay. There's greener pastures out there. Don't be stuck watching the water rise up to your eyeballs and looking over in the distance at Jay Kraft, who's making money, smiling. Go look at my Facebook profile, making money at these conventions. But I digress. So that item that now has the $2 left on it, I'm just delisting it. because it's not worth it. And you know what I do with those items? I box them up. I either donate them, I give them to my friends. They run yard sales. They make money. Maybe they'll come back. They'll buy some stuffed animals from me, come to my show, whatever it might be. I'm getting rid of them. But during this process, I have some items that are getting down so cheap to the point where people are going to buy them. Okay. But people aren't taking caution when they buy them. So something that's normally $30 and now they see it for, $15, $14, they're buying it. They're receiving the item and it's not what they expected because it's significantly cheaper and they didn't read the description. And here I'm going to go ahead and show you an example of somebody who had the flippin' audacity to not even look at the image. And this is the thing that's killing me, is I'm getting hammered with negative and neutral feedback. So I have 2 neutrals right now, and I've had 2 negatives lifted all since I started this really aggressive price cuts. And I know, I get it. I'm not stupid. I know you people, if you sell cheap items, you're going to get cheap buyers. Obviously, okay? I don't want to throw some of this stuff away. I don't want to give some of this stuff to the donation bin because it's so esoteric, it's so niche that there isn't going to be buyers for it. It's going to end up in a landfill, okay? Shoot me for trying to do the right thing and trying to find a home for an item, but I'm getting the dumbest of dumb buyers. And it would be one thing if they were just stupid and they were buying my items and they were getting out of my way. It's another thing when they're stupid and then they're opening their mouth and they're voicing their opinions. I'm like, hey, can you tell? Can you feel the energy in the room that I just got this feedback within the last 10 minutes? And if you think I'm snarky and snappy right now, okay, wait till you see the actual what's going on. I found myself ordering the wrong part, relying on the text of the listing rather than the photo. A cautionary note to those other vendors: reinforce the identity of the item offered by listing the specific part number and model car it is intended for. I needed a logo emblem for a Niro. The text only mentioned that it was a logo emblem for Kia. Only after the part arrived did I realize that the blurry photo showed an image for a Sorento. Oh man. I haven't even taken the time to pull up the listing here. Okay. You know what we're going to do? We're going to go and pull this up. My eBay selling. I might not even have it. Oh man, I really want to find it. Let me see if I can find it for you, because I think this might add a little bit more fun to it. Did they actually change it so it doesn't say buyer's name in the search box? Holy shit, that only took them a decade to make that adjustment. Okay, so I don't even have it here. All orders, item title, Sorento. Let's try Kia. See if that pulls it up. Egg on my face, right? Okay, here we go. OEM, USA seller, genuine rear trunk chrome logo emblem for Kia. And then here's your part number. Here's your model number. Okay, what do you think? What do you think you might be possibly getting when you buy this? Do you think that you're getting the Kia Niro badge, the round black badge that reads Kia on the back of it? Or do you think you're going to get a chrome piece that says Sorento? I had no clue based on the blurry photo that I was going to be getting a Sorento piece. Okay. So this is the type of stupid that I find myself dealing with now. And don't get me wrong. Yeah, I get that it's a fractional part of the world and they're going to be out there. Okay. I need a logo for my Niro, and the text only mentioned that the logo emblem for Kia. Nowhere did it say, and nowhere did I believe that I was going to be getting something for a Sorento. Shame the fuck on you, right? So I leave my response because I have to. Okay. And I put that working with buyers like you is the reason I'm choosing to leave eBay after 19 years, which it is part of the problem. And here's the thing. After talking with eBay on the phone the other day about these issues, I told them, I said, I'm really getting tired of this, about how the pendulum has shifted so far in favor of the buyers, that a seller like myself does not have the power to really do much of anything in these situations. I said, well, you can refund them up to half. And I say, no. What do I do on a sale like this? The person bought this for $11. If I have to pay the origin shipping, and then I have to pay the return shipping, and then I have to give them half of their money back, I still lose money. I still lose a ton of money in the process, and mainly I'm losing my time. Well, you know what this asshole says to me over at Concierge? And I went to a supervisor after he said this to me too. He said, well, that's just the cost of doing business online. And, you know, the old me would have just like kind of absorbed that. And I stopped and I sat there for a second. I said, no, this isn't the cost of doing business online. This is the cost of doing business with eBay. And there's a fundamental difference because this doesn't happen with Mercari. This doesn't happen with, sites like Poshmark or Etsy. There's systems in place to handle and deal with returns on behalf of the buyer. There's systems in place to ensure that once a buyer receives an item, if there is an issue, guess what? Other people are dealing with it other than me, because my job is to present an image of an item and then sell said item. If you bought the wrong item, I don't give a shit, okay? That's not my fault. Are you over the age of 18? Did you commit to buy the item? Did you have full autonomy while you did it? Great. I don't care. If I delivered you exactly the item you were supposed to get, guess what? Keep the damn thing. Did you make a mistake? Okay, call it a learning error. Could you at least have the decency to ask me, hey, guess what? You know, call me fucking stupid, okay? I didn't read or look at the images or really have like any agency over myself or my decision-making process for like the last 10 years of my life. And I went ahead and bought something from your store, like just the complete idiot that I am. Do you think you might be able to take it back from me? And guess what? You know what? I might think about it. I might have sympathy for you. But when you open up a fraudulent claim and say that I shipped you the wrong item, and then he shows me a picture of it. I don't even want to pull it up right now. He shows me a picture of, maybe I can pull it up. He shows me a picture of the Kia Niro badge, the completely incorrect item. And he puts it next to the other one. And I was just absolutely, here, let me see if I can find it. And I'm absolutely floored when I see this. Nope, I can't find it in here. It's impossible to get to your returns page on eBay. I'm not going to do it right now. When people do this, this is what runs me up the wall. So I had another one happen earlier this month. Here, let me get you the rest of this feedback while I'm thinking about it, okay? We'll get you the feedback just so you can feel my pain. And here's the thing. I'll call eBay. I'll talk to them this week. I'll get something resolved out on it. It is what it is, okay? We'll get it sorted out. I said working with buyers like you is the reason that I'm choosing to leave eBay after 13 years. You somehow are trying to make others feel you are the victim for not looking at the picture while buying an item. The cognitive dissonance you have to believe that taking my money for your error, opening a fraudulent return, and forcing a refund is somehow my fault is shocking. Then you have the audacity to leave me with a neutral after stealing my money for doing absolutely nothing wrong. Get a grip. And that's the reality of the situation. Like, these people need to get a grip with exactly what's going on in life. Like, I don't understand how you can be so far removed. And then let's say you are aware. Let's say okay, and that, I guess that would even be worse. Let's say this person is fully aware of what they're doing and they understand what they're doing. And they're choosing to go the route of malevolence over like $12. And I even messaged the guy before the auto return closed out in his favor. I said, hey, one human to another, can you do me a solid here? Could you close this return out? Because I'm just going to lose like $12 because of you. Is there any way that you just might be a decent human and recognize that you made the error and just let this close out? And nope, not a chance. No, you should have had clearer pictures. You should have clearly described it. And I'm like, okay, fuck you. Go ahead. Take it. Take my money. I don't care. And, the best thing he could have done for everyone involved is he could have just, shut his mouth and just left and just not caused any more problems, because now I got to get on the phone with eBay and now I've got to deal with this situation. And I absolutely hate it. And now you can see here too, I have another one. Okay. It's this Funko Oogie Boogie number 39 Series 4 from Disney Nightmare Before Christmas. It's a Funko Pop. And the person said, bought it by mistake. Messages me, my daughter bought this item. I don't give a fuck who bought this item. Someone on your account purchased the item. Guess what I did? I boxed the item up and I shipped the item out. It's not my responsibility. Control your goddamn kids. If your kids are on your phone and they're making buying decisions, make them get outside, make them rake the yard, make them take care of it. Not my problem. Don't allow your children to do things that are going to make them people you don't like. because I don't like your kid for doing that. And I like you even less for condoning, allowing, and then taking what was the fault of your child and then making it someone else's problem. You didn't even make it your own problem. You made it somebody else's problem. Okay. And this was a sale, $15.99, originally $24.99, $15.99 now. And guess what? I get to deal with it. It gets to be my problem now. So he messages me. He says, hey, I'm going to return this. I'm like, hey, we shipped you out the item. He goes ahead and returns the item to me. Nothing I can do. And I know what you're thinking, like, well, just don't have returns on. And then you get pounded even harder because you don't even have the option to give half back at that point. And the whole idea of having it is so when you sell a really expensive item, you have some form of recourse. It's not a restocking fee. It's really not that great, but it's something. So I say, okay, item's coming back. Item comes back. Check this out. Comes back in the wrong box. Comes back destroyed. Because a Funko Pop, you ship it in 8x6x4, you put some padding. That's how you deal with it. Comes back obliterated because the item rattled too much. It was like a freaking wrecking ball in there. So it screws itself up. So what do I got to do at that point? I'd say, hey, item came back. It came back damaged. Send them a picture of it. I say, hey, it's damaged in the box. We're only going to be able to give you half back. And I was being a decent human being at that point. No, F you. I shipped it correctly. There's nothing wrong with it. You just don't want to give us our money back. And I'm like, whoa, buddy. Okay. He's like, I can prove that it was broken. It was shipped to me damaged. I'll deal with eBay. I'll send them photos. So what do? I talk with eBay. We open a case, launched an investigation. They look into it. He never submitted one photo once. eBay went ahead and gave him all of the money back. Guess where that money came from? This guy. Okay. I talked with eBay about it. They said the only thing we can do is we can descore this feedback. And that wasn't the first concierge rep. That was the second concierge rep. And you know the big problem with this is, okay, is that feedback made him look like a jackass. And my response actually made me look like a good guy. But now if I go over here, it just shows it as being descored. Okay, you just have those two minus signs. And that means eBay is allowing the neutral to stay on your account, but they're going to remove the message that was left on there. Here's the problem, okay? If I go click reply, guess what? Let me log in. I'm not going to be allowed to reply to this feedback, okay? And oh, okay, I take that back. I'm going to be able to okay, you know what? Hold on. You know what happened? Okay. I may have typed a response and then the response may have deleted or said that I can't reply to it, or it was too fresh after it was done before. I'll come back later and I'll try and type a response. I'll give you an update. Just look in the comments in a few days. But here's the thing. It just made the situation even worse for me. I had another lady who bought an item from me. She bought a Christmas boat from me. This boat was sandwiched between two pieces of foam. It had the cardboard on the face. It had bubbles the whole way around it. And she was upset with the way that I packed the item. Okay. And we're going back and forth. And I said, hey, we ship it. It even says in the listing, the most economical way possible. You don't know how to pack items. There wasn't enough packing in there. The front of the box, the clear part of the box, like the clear part of the box was completely missing, and you didn't state that in the listing. And you can clearly see in the listing that there's no window plastic. And I even think I said it, or I said, what you see is what you get, or my little disclaimer, whatever it might be. I had something going on in there in the listing. And she goes back and forth with me for like 2 weeks about this. Okay. And I'm like, okay, but just understand, I'm trying to do my job here. I'm sorry you aren't happy with the way it was packed, but unless you want to return it, there's nothing that we can really do for you. And then she messaged me. She's like, it's broken. I'm like, really? I'm like, because there's no way for it to have broke. No way. So I want you to imagine the boat. Okay. Let me see if we can find it. Okay. I'm going to show you it. I think we have to do this at this point. My eBay selling. One moment. See all orders. Search by item title. I love that update. Just took a decade. Boat. Okay, here we go. Let's pull it up. There we go. Lemax Village Collection Light Up Boat. This is a beautiful boat. Great piece. Now, what I want you to note, okay, if we look at it here, is you can see that there's foam that sandwiches the boat on the front to the back. Okay, it's actually locking the piece in place from front to back. It can't come out. You can't pull it out because this is like a retail display. This is how they ship them to the store. Now around the front here, there would normally be a clear window, a piece of plastic that would go around the front of the boat. Now this boat sold for $45. This is a hard one to find. This used to be a Walmart line of Christmas collectibles. You can't find them anymore, okay? Let's see, smoke-free, pet-free home. You're bidding on the exact item. Okay, I didn't mention the window, but you got that picture. You got this picture of it out of the box, okay? Just so you can see all angles. But when it's in the box, it locks into the box. It locks in place. I put air bubbles the whole way around the front and the whole way around the exterior. After 2 weeks of back and forth, she tells me that the item is broken and now she wants to return it. Sends me photos, and the item was intentionally broken, to the best of my knowledge, okay? 2 or 3 of the mask piece were just snapped off, okay? And she sent me the photo, and I'm like, Jesus Christ. I'm like, I know you broke this item, because it was a perfectly staged photo. It was completely out of the box, and the way that it was snapped, because you have these strings and just like perfectly snapped and just laying there. It didn't go on some chaotic ride. It wasn't twisted up in knots or anything. And then it arrives here and there's like one more piece still connected. So I just bend it. It's like you have to like bend it all the way back and then bring it on down. It's not snapping from bouncing around in a box. So I contact eBay. First representative says there isn't anything we can do for you. So I got to cycle through to another rep. They have to open a case, launch an investigation. Guess what? She still gets a full refund, but eBay is kind enough to descore to me and not force me to have to refund this person too. And this is just a snippet of the cases that I've had to deal with over the last 30 days. And I've only had to start dealing with these as I've started reducing my item prices. And here's the other part of it, as the consumer wallets are starting to tighten. The Federal Reserve just said that they expect COVID savings, like people's, savings funds that were over $2 trillion at the peak of COVID, all that money that everyone was given, was down to like $200 billion as of today. And they expect it to be ran out through, or 200 billion. They expect it to be ran out through by the end of October. So you're going to start seeing a lot more situations of buyer remorse. You're going to start a lot more situations of pure malevolence for people to try and return items that they realize that they shouldn't have been buying, or, they paid more than they really wanted to pay, where there might have been a little bit more slack, or they got their surprise bills and they're going to be looking for reasons to try and free up capital. You're going to see more of it happening towards the ends of the months. You're going to see a lot of it happening coming into the holidays. This is going to be an awfully weird holiday season. It's going to be a real big drawback in consumer spend. You're probably not going to hear a lot of it on traditional TV, but it's going to be a really interesting period of time. So I wanted to talk with you about this. The other thing that I really want to mention before I get out of here, and I may do a dedicated video on this, don't ever buy anyone's eBay store. I'm going to tell you that right off the bat. If anyone is trying to sell you their eBay store, they are a full-on, okay, I don't want to argue malevolence. I don't want to argue that these people are intentionally being evil and they're trying to get one over on people. But let's look at the biggest elephant in the room, okay? Why on earth would you buy somebody's eBay store? If their items were good, guess what? They would have sold already, okay? And this notion that, every buyer or every item has its right buyer, I really believe that for a long time. Guess what I did today? I delisted 300 items. Guess what I did over the last 60 days? I delisted another 200 items. Guess what I'm going to do tonight? I'm probably going to delist another 100 items, because this size issue, or just finding better markets for them, whether it be local sale, whether it be a convention, I'm telling you, when you run the numbers, especially as you start closing down an eBay store, the best thing you can do is just take those items, throw them the fuck away. Just get rid of them. If you have something else that's going to pay you more money elsewhere, your time, your resources, your energy, your effort, throw them the fuck away. Move on to something else. You don't need to keep doing this, because I'm telling you, I know some people right now who are making like less than $2,000 a month. When you really factor in your costs, you're not making anything, especially when you compare that to the cost of goods, cost of living, and everything going on right now. Throw it away. Get rid of it. Take that warehouse space and turn it into literally anything else. Start manufacturing something in your space. Don't get stuck here waiting, playing this game. I have so many items that when I bought them, I saw all the completed comps. I'm like, yeah, this is going to sell. This is going to sell. And don't get me wrong. For every one item that I'm deleting right now off of eBay and giving away, there was probably 6 items that I sold and I made a great profit on. And it easily covered it. And I've probably made $1 million doing eBay over the last 19 years of being here, if not more than that. Okay. So there's a lot of money to be made. But if you're a hobbyist eBayer and you're in a position right now where you're like, I'm going to turn this into a full-time thing, unless you are at the steering wheel of and you have access, or you're in the driver's seat, the ability to get more inventory at a very high rate. You're either manufacturing it, you're the original producer of it. You have just endless supplies coming in. You're stamping your own tumblers. You're doing something to that effect. Unless you have that, you're entering into very, very troubled waters. And it's not just because of the eBay platform. I've given you 20 reasons before. And if you want, we can do a Q&A, and I'll sit down here. Maybe I'll bring somebody on with me and we'll talk for an hour or 2 hours or 3 hours about strategically getting rid of your store, because it's not an easy thing to do. It requires a lot of work and a lot of effort. And anyone who is knowingly trying to sell a store and trying to tell you, hey, give me 50% of the value of my store, I'll tell you right now, okay? I would do unspeakable things for somebody to take my entire store at 50% when it was at full price, because I have items at 65% off right now. I can't fucking sell them. Nobody wants them. Okay. And that's just the nature of it. Now, is that to say that in 2 years' time, if I continue to do this, that right buyer would come along and they would buy that? I'm sure. Of course in time they would come along. But when I look back at items that I've had for 3, 4, 5, 7 years on eBay, and a percentage of my store fee is going towards keeping that item online, I'm looking at my overall cost year over year and the amount of money that eBay is actually giving me after everything's said and done. Yes, $50,000 last year, $60,000 2 years ago. It was worth a hell of a lot more than it is today. You need to position yourself to get into a field where you can make $100,000 a year within probably the next 2 to 3 years, especially if you live here in California, if you live in Florida, you live in DC, you live in New York, you live in, any of these high dollar markets. You have to position yourself for a 6-figure income. And some of you are making that, but you're also just pissing it away on rent and cost of living. I'm talking, you need to be clearing after all of your expenses are paid. You want to be positioned to where you're putting $25,000 to $50,000 a year away every year. Okay. I'm positioned that way right now. I'm just tossing stacks of cash away, and it wouldn't be on the back of eBay. So I'm at a point right now. I'm going to take all that shit. I'm just going to throw it away. I don't want it. I don't want to deal with it. Now I'm going to tell you this. Okay. I'm thinning it way down. You can see some inventory back there. Those are some cool shirts. I'm going to be getting it down to hopefully under 200 items. So another 500 items are going to get purged out. Some are going to be through price reductions. Some are going to be from pivoting to different places like the conventions. But I'm going to get it down to a super, super low number to where I am no longer working for eBay as an employee. Like, eBay is going to kind of be working for me when it's convenient for me. We're talking 7 to 14 day handling time, because I don't care. You'll get your item whenever you get your item. And we're talking the smallest possible footprint here at my house. I don't want it to consume any portion of my mental space. I'm at a point now, I have all notifications off on my phone for eBay. Okay. I don't care when I get a message. I don't care when an item sells. I'll get to eBay when I damn well feel like getting to eBay. And I'll tell you, the peace of mind that comes from that, not feeling like you're a slave to the eBay work engine, it's absolutely amazing. And I know, Jay, yeah, you probably just need to take a break a little bit. Yeah, I know. I've taken breaks. It's lovely. I got big things happening right now, and I can't even talk about it. I can't even go into some of the work projects that I'm doing right now. They're bigger. If you're in the group chat, if you want to come join group chat, it's free. But if you're in the group chat, I've talked about some of these big projects I'm doing now, the wholesaling end of things, the convention mentoring end of things. I got a lot of things cooking. It's fantastic. Come with me, okay? I'm considering making videos on the topic, but again, it's so hard to, because there's so few people who actually have the willingness to absorb information. It seems like I unfortunately keep running across people who think that they know more than me on topics that I'm well educated on. And this is one of them that I'm getting better at. I'm not an expert in conventions. I'm getting better at it, but I've found a way. I've cracked the damn code. I can do $6,000 to $10,000 a weekend in sales with about 60% of that, 70% of that going straight into my pocket. The margins are fantastic. Fantastic. So when I look at it, it's like I can work 2 weekends a month. I can make $12,000 to $20,000. Why the hell would I do eBay? Okay. Like, why am I going to spend all day, every day, committing my time to sourcing and listing and packing and shipping? I'm just not going to do it. So just some food for thought. I just wanted to vent. I really wasn't planning on making a video for a little while. Yeah. Stay away from people who are trying to sell you their eBay store. Like I said, if the items were good, they would be sold. And, and this is firsthand account. I've got all of this. This is just here on my desk. This is just stacks of sports cards that, were listed at, market value, $20 each, $25 each. And they're not even like, what am I going to sell them for $6 and pay my 50 cents? I'm not going to sit here and do an envelope for $4.50. I know that seems ridiculous. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to stop what I'm doing, find the card, find the piece of costume jewelry, find the pin. I'm not going to do it because I can just go to an event and I can dump bins on a table and I can make $5,000 in a weekend. So I'm not going to do anything. So I'm going to take all of this. I'm going to bulk it together. I'm going to do an auction, 99 cents. I don't care if it sells for $1.99. I'm going to box it up. I'm going to ship it out the damn door. Take it, throw it away. Okay. And you know who I'm talking to when I say this. Move on to greener pastures, guys. And just avoid hucksters who are trying to sell you their store. It's not that easy. And if you do plan on closing your store, just be really strategic with what you do. Just be mindful. You're not going to sell a lot of this stuff. Don't continue to hold out hope. Don't take as long as I did. Shit, I'm like 10 or 11 months in now to the process of closing my store because I'm like, I can hold out till the holidays and I can eke out just a little bit more money. Not worth it. If you're going to do it, start it now and get aggressive with it. And I want to keep in mind too, is that not only am I doing the strategic pricing down, at the end of every month, before I do my reduction, I'm offering a 10% discount off of the current listed price, including sale, to all of my offers to buyers. So they're basically getting a 2-month advance on where the price is going to be. And so I just did my next sale. Everything got 5% cheaper. So I had to go through and look at all of my listings again and evaluate them. And tonight I'm going to look through I got VCRs, I got tea kettles, I got dish sets. I've got all of this other stuff that needs to get delisted because it's just not going to be worth it to ship it. So that's everything for me here, guys. Thank you to those of you who made it to the end of this. This was fun. We'll do it again. And remember, if you don't make that money, someone else will. Have a great day, guys.